Welcome to another edition of CEO Unplugged. I'm Scary Jones from Elvis Duran and the Morning Show, and I'm hanging out with another interesting person. Of course, CEO Unplugged, the show where you come to see if, hey, look, we're covering great people doing awesome things, innovators, movers and shakers, tastemakers, and maybe you could take some tips and become a CEO yourself someday. Maybe you're trying to start your own practice and your own product. These are the people you want to learn from. And today I have Adrian Solgaard from Solgaard here in the studio with me. How are you?
Hey, great, thanks. Great to meet you.
Good to meet you too, man.
Happy Monday. Monday morning, first thing.
Oh yeah, love it. It's great. Right after the time change, we're doing we're recording this, by the way, right after the time switch where you lose an hour. So a lot of people are dragging their wagons today, but
yeah.
you good.
I mean, fortunately, I don't need that much sleep. I'm kind of like annoying about that. I can run on very.
You got caffeine in that cup? What's going on
I
there?
wish.
No. I wanted to introduce people to what Solgaard even is for those who don't know. So why don't you explain a little bit about your company and what you guys do?
So Solgaard's a travel brand. We make all kinds of travel gear, but everything's made sustainably, and that's kind of a thing we're making sure we do with both pieces. It's always an innovative travel product that makes traveling, makes your life on the go easier, and it's also made sustainably. So it's kind of like those are the two criteria for everything that we do.
So when you say travel gear, you're talking about luggage?
Luggage, so suitcases, backpacks, whatever. The first product we made was a solar-powered anti-theft backpack. It was a backpack with a built-in solar panel, power bank, and Bluetooth speaker. Together with a lock, you could lock the bag up when you're sitting at a cafe. Secret passport pockets, There's like 12 things, and the last one, of course, is a built-in bottle opener.
Of course, you got to have that along for the ride.
I was living in Spain at the time. If you're living in Spain, you've got a speaker, you're like hanging out with your friends on the beach, beers are going to come out. So it's good to have a bottle.
So you're talking about sustainability right up front here. How important is the sustainability? How important is that to the brand and to what you guys create?
It's huge. It's like a key factor in everything that we do. But in the way that we're not defining ourselves as this is the one practice that will carry on for the rest of our business's life. It's this method of exploring for good. We're always trying to do as much as possible. And so as technologies change and as new things become available, that might shift a little bit. Hopefully we can start using seaweed-based fabrics in a few years, but that might take a little while.
Oh, wow.
Our primary focus now is that for every item we sell, we collect 6 pounds of ocean plastic. So that's river barriers set up throughout Southeast Asia, collecting plastic from mangroves, which is increasing biodiversity. And then from all the plastic that we collect, only some of it is used for our product. We're actually going above and beyond and doing more than what we're doing. Because there's a lot of companies that are doing this. And if you were to make, say, a watch out of ocean plastic, you're collecting, a few grams of plastic. That's not going to be helping much. Versus if you go and you're doing, full 6 pounds, that means for every item we sell, we're actually starting to do some significant cleanup. So we're at about 1.3 or 1.2 million pounds of plastic collected.
It's so funny you mentioned that. I was involved in an ocean cleanup locally about a year and a half ago, and I could not believe what we picked up. It was collectively like this. We're talking about hundreds of people doing this. It was an organization that we worked with at the time, and it was mind-boggling when you see. I think I have video of it. I'm like, oh my God, what are they going to do with all this? Well,
yeah, exactly.
Enter Solgaard to the chat.
Exactly.
That's amazing. You're doing great things
Thank you.
right up front there. And let's walk it back here for a second. Let's go to the beginning.
Yeah.
How did you get your start in this? How did you even find yourself and your brand? Like, how did you know this is what you wanted to do?
So previous to my initial background is in television. Well, so my initial background, I was a pro BMXer when I was a teenager. Learned how to edit videos for making these demo reels. I would send in literal VHS tapes. I'm that old. I would send in VHS tapes via post to like a bike company and hope to get sponsorship stuff. But I learned how to edit videos. And then when I was about 19, I was just really sick of getting hurt. So I was thinking this career path might not be the safest for my body. Maybe if I do the video thing, I can go a little further. Got an internship at a TV show, ended up a few weeks on the job. The video editor was sick, and I was like, hey, well, I can do his job today while he's out. They said, okay.
We know how that story goes.
At age 19, I was promoted to being head editor of a nationally aired TV show. I worked there for 3.5, 4 years. I can tell you all sorts of stuff about marriage counseling.
So
it's a marital counseling show.
You basically were pinch hitting for someone who couldn't. Yeah. You ever hear the name Wally Pipp?
I have not. Great name, though.
Yeah, nobody remembers him. You know why? Because the day that he was sick as a New York Yankee, Babe Ruth took over as the Yankees first baseman, or was it Lou Gehrig? One of the Yankee greats. And then Wally Pipp was pipped. He was out of there.
So close.
That's what happens. That's how you get your start.
Yeah.
So then, how did you
say yes to the opportunities, man? You got to shoot your shot.
How did you parlay this into a travel brand?
So yeah,
I mean, because right now we're still in the TV phase.
I know. I'm giving you this long story
go for it.
It all sort of builds in. So then I started a creative agency. I was doing TV commercials and music videos on the side, so I got pretty good at doing short form video. Then this thing called Kickstarter came out in 2011 or 2012, and I was like, that seems cool. I'm making all this ephemeral content stuff, but I want to make something physical. What should I make? Then my bike got stolen. And I thought, well, I've always loved bikes. Maybe I could make a bike lock. So I made a bike lock concept, made a video for that, put that on Kickstarter. That got funded. Ran this bicycle lock company for 3 years. It was really cool. Like the lock lived inside the bike. So yeah, ran that on Kickstarter in 2012. 3 years of that. Tried to sell the patents to somebody. Did not work out as planned. Was broke at my friend's house, living on her couch. I had $637 in the bank. In Spain, that fortunately goes a bit further.
But just a bit.
Just a bit. And I said, I've got to figure something out. I'd been on a date with this girl. Her backpack was stolen from between our chairs. And I thought, well, I know how to make locks. So what if I made a backpack with a lock in it? Been thinking about that. And then I was like, but I want the next life step to be something sustainable. So we made it a solar powered backpack. I looked into like the research of how much solar panel area could you use for charging a phone and all of that. And I noticed while I was traveling, for the years of running this bike company, I was traveling a lot and going to Asia for like a week at a time or 2 weeks and just bouncing around constantly. And I was like, okay, I always need a power bank. I always need a speaker because, you know, morning karaoke is a very important part of my morning routine.
Singing in the shower?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And so you kind of need, there's a few things you need. So I put all those features into this one backpack, launched that on Kickstarter 7 years ago. And that raised $600,000. And
amazing. And then the rest is history.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of these brands in the market, right? There's a lot of people that are saying they're doing some things like similar to what you guys are doing. What sets Solgaard apart from the rest of these brands?
There's not really anybody doing the sustainability efforts to the extent that we are. Not even close.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Okay.
But if you're watching, please copy us.
Right.
Please. We need more people doing more sustainability stuff.
Yeah.
So in terms of that side, we're standing out in
Yeah.
terms of the amount of recycled content we're putting into our product, the way we're collecting the recycled content, not just post-consumer waste. It's actually ocean-bound plastic, so it's collected from beaches and riverways. And then as well, there's our products have these innovative features. Like our suitcase has this built-in closet thing. So like imagine, you know, the IKEA hanging closet?
Yes.
So combine that with a magical suitcase that just pops up and the whole closet lives inside.
Like an accordion.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
What are some of the partnerships that you guys have worked on between Solgaard and other companies? Do you have any?
I think one of the fun ones is with Neil deGrasse Tyson. We did a range of luggage that was Moon and Mars themed. And Neil was like very specific on, if we're doing the Moon, we need to show this mountain range on the back. If we're doing Mars, we need to show Valles Marineris. It's Mars's Grand Canyon. That was fun. We have a MoMA partnership going, actually. If you go to the MoMA store, I think there's 4 in the country, 1 in SF, 2 in New York, and 1 somewhere else. We've got our watches and one of our custom luggage that's in there as well.
Wow.
And then we have our sustainability partnerships with Sunghai Watch, which is a group based in Indonesia.
Yep.
We have a whole village model sponsored there with like 14 full-time staff and a collection center that's in the mangrove, so focus on mangrove health. So there's there's these things on, I'm living in these 2 worlds simultaneously, right? It's like sustainability side and then like cool space luggage.
Yeah,
like,
you could tell you love what you do.
Yeah,
your
so
heart
much
and
fun.
mind is in it. This isn't just a paycheck for you. This is
No.
this is you've dedicated your life to it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's to be commended for sure. Now, I just have to ask this question. We just, coming out of the pandemic, how did you guys make your way while people weren't traveling? Where traveling was forbidden and all the flights were canceled. How did you guys get by?
We went on to what we call low battery mode.
Low battery mode. I know exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. So like cut all spending on every single front.
Yeah.
Basically before the PPL loans and all that stuff were coming out, it was just a matter of late March was just trying to figure out, okay, as things are coming down, what's going to be the net effect of this? We had an investor who did not come through on their commitment in May, and it was very troublesome because we'd kind of based everything on that. And so then we ended up coming up with this idea we make luggage. Everything's for life on the go. But at some point, people that are on the go also are at home. And so I thought, how could we bring some of the same magic to the home? So I told you about this Bluetooth speaker that we make.
Yep.
We had been researching this new mechanism for using ocean plastic to actually make the injected plastic part of that. So we wanted to make this ocean plastic solar powered speaker, but I thought if we're going to launch this, we should launch it with a little extra. So we made a shelf for it for in the home, which has 2 wireless charging pads and an acoustic amplifier for the speaker. So launched that on Kickstarter in, I think it was end of May we launched it. And that raised $600,000, and that's what saved the company.
So
that's what saved us. So any Kickstarter backers that backed us on that, thank you. That literally saved our 2020.
Amazing. And now you've come out of it now.
Travel started coming back,
and we're turning a corner now. Yeah, but now you've got these awesome home products. I mean, and the more you make, the more plastic you're using from the ocean.
Exactly.
The more this is.
And because of the exponential impact of us collecting more plastic than just what goes into the product.
Yeah.
Those numbers start to really add up.
That's phenomenal. What's next for the company? Like, what other things are you thinking of now that the wheels are turning? Now you got all this.
Yeah.
You have so many products. How many products do you have out there that are not travel related? You have a few. Quite a few.
Yeah, like 6 or 7 or something.
Right. You're wearing one right now.
Yeah.
This watch.
Hexagon-shaped watches.
Yeah. So what's next? What do you got?
I'm pretty committed to the hexagon. If you ever notice in our product design.
Oh, look at that. It's on. He's got it tattooed.
Rule number 1: don't get your logo tattooed on your body. Rule number 2: don't name your company after yourself. But I don't know.
I mean, you named
rules are meant to be broken.
You did well. Yeah, they are. But now you have the. I love that.
Yeah.
You have that right underneath there. Why the hexagon?
So it's one of these like beautiful forms in nature that's like it's an organic structure. Honeybees use it. There's a hexagon cloud on Saturn. It's kind of at the base layer of so much of our biology. Actually, as humans, as any carbon-based life form, we're baby hexagons, 3D printed all the way up. And so it is the building block of life. It's an infinitely stackable shape.
Yep.
And
it is. Right.
On a watch, it just happens so that you can tell time easier because there's 6 corners and 6 flat sides.
Yes, that people need to know that. It's 6. Hexagon is 6. Pentagon is 5 sides. 6 sides is hexagon. Septagon is 7, and octagon is 8.
Yeah.
That's a stop sign.
Don't make me go above that. I don't know what 9 is.
No, me neither. The octagon is a stop sign. Yeah. So the hexagon is where it's at for you guys, and you're going to continue with that.
On what's coming, we have started developing some circular products. So how nerdy do you want me to go here?
Geek out on me. Go for it.
So in material design and product design, so like take that little backrest thing. There's some foam in there. There's some fabric in there. All these things are made up of multiple different components. But there are different ways you can make things. So our newest product that we have coming out in May is a fully circular backpack. So it's mono-material design, 100% same material for every single component.
I'm envisioning it,
including the foam. So it's squishy and feels like foam.
Oh my God.
But it's all made out of the same material, which is recycled water bottles, as PET. So that's something that's really exciting that's coming out. I'm very excited about that. And that's something we hope to be adapting into more and more of our products. And this sort of mono-material design means that backpack at the end of its life, you can throw it in the recycling.
That's what monomaterial does for you. I didn't realize that. So meaning
you know how we have to separate our recycling, right?
Sure, of course.
And then they go and they'll separate the aluminum at their thing and do that. So this can just be completely thrown in as a recyclable, not needing to like cut out all the different pieces.
I feel like that's the way products are going.
That's
more mono.
That's where we need to go.
Yeah. What are the important traits and qualities that have helped you succeed as an entrepreneur?
So I think tenacity is really one of the biggest ones. I think when you set a goal that's sort of audacious enough for yourself that you're not going to get bored of it in the pursuit of it, I think that's one of these things we need to be asking ourselves in a constant life state is how can we make that next goal bigger and bigger? Because if it gets smaller and smaller, you get more bored. So
there are people that are watching this or listening to this right now, depending on how you prefer it. I like watching podcasts. Hi. And I just wanted to know, a lot of people that are watching, they're trying to find the answer for themselves. They may be on a journey. They may be reinventing themselves. They may be stuck in their 9 to 5, or maybe they just had a Pinterest page that went bad. But they want to do something, now and be a CEO. That they're saying, look at this guy right here. He did it. I could do it. But I need a roadmap. And I know the answer isn't in a 40-second blurb, but what's the best advice you could give any entrepreneur in any field? And I know it's a broad question.
It's a broad question. I think that rather than focusing on the endpoint of being a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, let's focus on what it takes to get started.
Yes.
And I think that
building blocks, baby steps.
Building blocks is what it takes, because it's always that first step that's the hardest, where people are stuck in that life phase. So I think one analogy for it that I was talking about with a friend this weekend was, you're taking the subway and you get to a train station where there's, at Grand Central, for example, there's a lot of different lines. And we come to these moments in our lives, and when you get to that point, you're at Grand Central, I can take the A train, I can take the 1, 2, 3, you can take all these different options. And I think at that point, choosing which is in the general direction that I'm wanting to go. You're never going to take a path that's going to get you exactly to where you want to go, but it's like on a boat in the fog. You need to go in the general direction of the sound of the foghorn, listen to that whisper, listen to what is telling you inside, and just go that general direction with the trust and faith that as you get closer, the sun might help burn off the fog, and then your point will get clearer. But you're never going to have 100% clarity. So once you're at 80% or so, go for it. Yeah. That's the only advice I could give generally.
That's cool. Now, continuing to look to the future for you, the Solgaard company. Talk to me a little bit about where you think that the sustainable product world is going to go, and how is Solgaard going to adapt to those changes? Do you see anything? What's the forecast here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope that we're a leader in that charge.
Okay.
And I hope that, and if we're not, tell me that we're not, because I'd love to be honest with people about that. I think that what monomaterial design, I think, is one really big thing in consumer products. Designing for end of life. I think designing for end of life is kind of the key. The world is suffering with a waste problem, and we need to find ways that at the product's end of its useful life for you, it has a way to go on and continue living, whether that's going to be donated to somebody or it's going to be, taken down, torn down, and reused and repaired. So I think that designing for end of life is one of the biggest things in sustainability that's needed.
It's great. And as a CEO, you've been through a lot. You've had, you've had your ups and your downs. What is the biggest lesson that you learned as a CEO? Or what have you learned? What maybe small failure did you learn a lesson from, and you turned a negative to a positive, as Mr. 305 would say?
Yeah,
Pitbull. You turn a negative to a positive.
I have a no a-hole policy in life.
Oh, okay.
And so I think that's kind of one of the clear ways of determining. I was burned a couple of times by some people that weren't great, and I kind of made a point in my life to just not have that type of person in it, as a business partner, as a coworker, as an investor. Toxic people will make your life more toxic, and if you can just do your best to avoid having them in it altogether, that's
a theme we preach on the Elvis Duran Morning Show. Is about eliminating toxicity and the toxic people from your life, because then you get a lot more done.
Yeah, audit your inner circle and just keep it going.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Well, where can people find Solgaard products, and what's the website, and how do you spell it?
So
because it could be tricky.
The website is Solgaard, SOLGAARD.co.
Okay, Solgaard.co.
We're trying to get the .com. There's a very long story there, which we won't get
into.
But yeah, and if you're at the Carry-On Closet, if you've ever seen our ads on TV, or you may have seen me dressed up as a Viking showing this off.
Oh, I got to check this out. I have not seen it.
So Solgaard or the Carry-On Closet will help you find it.
Fantastic. Get more information on Solgaard and support them, especially because of what they do to support our oceans and our environment and sustainability. It's great meeting people like you who are making a difference in this world, and appreciate CEOs like yourself and those who will follow after you. Thanks for watching CEO Unplugged. It's great for you to be here. And any other comments along the way? Well, we're good.
Happy to be here.
All right, awesome. All right, I'm Scary Jones, and thank you for watching this episode of CEO Unplugged. Have a great day.